This video is brought to you by BETUS Sportsbook and Casino.
What's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson, back with the latest and greatest on the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about the Washington Commanders. Today is Sunday, August 4th, and the Commanders just concluded day 9 of training camp. We're almost done with training camp portion, at least the part that's open to the fans. I believe Tuesday, coming up in a couple days, is the final day fans can attend practice. And once again, the common theme and retort of training camp, our quarterback, Jayden Daniels, looks ready. He's balling out, and he had another sharp day of practice. The team was, I don't know, I was kind of confused. Yesterday, I think the team was off, meaning they had a practice closed to the public, to the media and fans. I believe they just did like a little walkthrough or something. But the news coming out of Washington today, Dan Quinn spoke before practice, and according to Adam Schefter, hardly a surprise, but Washington Commanders head coach Dan Quinn says number 2 overall pick Jayden Daniels will play in Washington's first preseason game versus the Jets. And to that, I applaud, because this should not be a surprise. Remember the comments that I made a video about a couple weeks ago when Joe Theismann said Jayden Daniels won't and should not play in the preseason? I was like, Joe Theismann is absolutely tweaking. Our rookie quarterback needs to get in and see what a preseason game feels like. So next week is going to be a monumental week for the development of Jayden Daniels, because we have a joint practice with the New York Jets, followed by a preseason game 2 days later. So Thursday, we're going to be in New Jersey practicing with the Jets, Aaron Rodgers and company, in that fire-ass defense. And then we get to see him versus the Jets in a preseason game. I think we'll probably see him for 2 drives the first quarter. So it'll probably be 2 possessions Washington, 2 possessions New York. Go break a sweat, try to make a couple plays, don't do too much. They're probably going to tell him, calm down a little bit on the running shit, save that for the regular season. Go break a sweat, go have some fun with your guys, go call some plays in the huddle, get out of the game. 100% all aboard the Jayden Daniels playing in preseason wagon. And I think the following week versus Miami, I think we see him for close to a half of football. My plan this whole offseason was I want to see at least a total of 1/2 of football during the preseason for Jayden Daniels. But as we've heard all offseason and now through the training camp period, this guy is special. If you saw Kay Adams live from Washington camp, she did personal solo interviews with Jahan Dotson, with Bobby Wagner, with Dan Quinn, with Daron Payne, with Brian Robinson. They absolutely glow when talking about Jayden. You can tell it's a different kind of glow than what we're used to. We saw them hype up Taylor Heineke. We saw them hype up Sam Howell. It's a different feeling in the tone and conjecture when it comes to how they speak about Jayden Daniels. And it's not just the game. We all know he's supremely gifted. He was the 2nd overall pick in the NFL draft, but it's the person. It's the personality. It's the morale. It's the leadership qualities. I like that Daron Payne says that Jayden talks shit. He said Jayden is talking shit from 6 in the morning when we're in practice lacing them up. He said Jayden caught me lacing up my cleats and said, that ain't gonna make you run faster. I love that, because they make Jayden out to be this quiet, shy, introverted guy, and I don't exactly think that's what he is. I don't think he's someone who wants to make the highlight reel of SportsCenter when he goes to a podium, but I think around his guys, he's just one of the guys. He's just a chill-ass dude. He's just a chill-ass San Bernardino, California boy. He's going to roast with the guys. He's going to kick it with the guys, and he's going to have a good-ass time with them. If you've ever seen him on Instagram Live with Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors, none of that should surprise you. But let's get to practice today. The most detailed reports I seen coming out of practice from my young boy Mason Kinahan. Shout out to Mason. Subscribe to his YouTube channel, Keeping Up with the Commanders. He's a part of PFF. Young boy does plenty of work. He's been out the training camp with boots on the ground since it's began for fans. He said Jayden Daniels was 12 of 15 and 11 on 11s today, with 3 incompletions being a drop and 2 would have been sacks. Overall, an amazing day from QB1. Jayden Daniels had a beautiful throw to the right pylon to Jahan Dotson for a big pickup, 35-yard game. You know what else I've been seeing the last few days? They're opening up the playbook. Like, we've been doing the NFL throws intermediate thing, but the last couple practices, as far as I can see from what they're talking about on X, they're opening that shit up, and it's been bombs over Baghdad the last couple days. Jayden airing that thing out. Love that. I imagine in a Cliff Kingsbury offense, there's going to be a lot of explosive plays. And still, up to this day, 9 days into practice, it feels like the pecking order for receivers right now is Terry, Jahan Dotson, and number 3 feels like Olamide Zaccheaus. I'm sure they want to work Luke McCaffrey into that role at some point, but it feels like those 3, Luke/Diami, that feels like locks at receiver through 9 games. But I mean, we got preseason football to play, so we're going to see how that goes. We got a kicker update. Ramiz Hamed misses from 42, and then Riley Patterson misses from 42, and both kickers go 4 from 5. We can't panic about a missed field goal in practice until we see it in the game. Let's see the operation in a preseason game. Let's see if the snapper can snap and the kicker can kick. And let's see if the kicker can get the ball all the way to the other end zone, get some touchbacks, and try to avoid kick returns with this new kickoff rule coming out. Jayden Daniels took a keeper 75 yards to the crib in the chew the clock drill. We know in practice when quarterbacks run, it doesn't mean too much. But this means something to me when I see Jayden Daniels run, because Jayden Daniels is going to be a top 3 rushing quarterback in this league immediately. While I think his total stature and where he power ranks as a quarterback throughout the league, it's going to take some time to march up that ladder. It's not going to take him any time to be a top 3 to 4 rushing quarterback in this league. This is one of the fastest quarterbacks in the NFL. He'll probably be at worst the 3rd, maybe 4th fastest quarterback in the league. There's a chance he's the 2nd fastest quarterback in the league. He's going to come in and make plays with his legs immediately. So when I see him keeping it and going 75 yards to the crib and throwing up a fist at the end, that gets me excited. It gets me juiced up. And I bet the crowd was loving that shit in Ashburn today. So to repeat Jayden Daniels' stat line, even though stat lines in practice, not something I pay attention to, I see other fans of other teams like concocting full body stat lines like, oh, Justin Fields has thrown 27 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. JJ McCarthy has thrown. No, I'm cool on the accumulated stat reporting from practice, but my boy said Jayden was 12 of 16 with 1 drop, 2 would have been sacks, and 1 bad pass. That sounds like another sharp day. All we've seen is Jayden Daniels stack good days since he's been out here. And we love to see that, because I keep repeating this narrative, guys, but there's a reason for it. We've seen so many quarterbacks come and go here. I've dealt with like 40 starting quarterbacks in my fan life thus far as a Commanders fan. And you know what I'm used to? Guys stinking up the joint in practice. I've seen so many guys stink up the joint in practice. It's like I've seen guys throwing the ball to Jesus, to the pearly gates, throwing it to the fans on the sideline. I've seen the defense, like I've seen us have to say, okay, the defense is dominant. That's why. No, the defense ain't dominated shit, but we've seen offenses struggle. The offense actually seems like it's able to get a look in practice now, because Jayden is so him. He's not the only story out at Ashburn, but he's the main story. He's the pièce de résistance for this team, and he's going to be reason numero uno why this team is going to be able to turn it around faster than expected. I don't know if y'all saw the Pivot podcast with Zach Ertz and Austin Eckler on it. Zach Ertz was talking about Jayden Daniels, and he was like, yeah, this guy's really good, and it's not going to surprise any of you when he's good faster than you expect. He's like, this guy is ready. They love the guy. Make sure y'all watch that interview. Phenomenal interview. And I think Zach Ertz is going to have a much bigger role than people expect on this roster. We added another defensive tackle Dan Quinn said he wants to load management the defensive tackles when it comes to Johnny Newton, and he wants to limit the wear and tear on Jonathan Allen. So they added 7-year defensive tackle Taylor Stallworth, and to do that, we cut another Ron Rivera draft pick, my boy Sip, cornerback Christian Holmes, the thick boy corner Christian Holmes, boy out of VT. Special teams guy, but never really added up as a cornerback. Honestly, he was just too big to play cornerback to me. That he looked like a linebacker playing cornerback. Wish him his best on his endeavors elsewhere. But we announced Jayden's playing in the preseason game. We signed a defensive tackle. Jayden lit it up. Mike Sanders still flashing per usual in practice today. Sam Cosmi, he was not out there today. Andrew Wiley still not participating in full team drills. That right tackle job is probably slipping from his grasp at this point. But that's about it for Washington Commanders practice day 9. Today was all about Jayden Daniels. He showed the wheels. He showed the arm. He's letting it fly all over the field. He's as advertised and per head coach Dan Quinn. His processing skills are amazing. Quinn spoke before practice. I believe Jayden spoke after practice. That's all I got for right now. 9 days of practice in the book for the Washington Commanders. Our quarterback is looking hella quarterbacky through 9 days. Washington opens the preseason this week. I will have my boy Richie from Jets Media and Roundtable Sports on the channel to preview Jets versus Commanders. It is game preview season on the channel again. We are back, guys. We are now in the second week of August, and we are now in the first week of Washington Commanders preseason, as preseason week 0 is over with the Hall of Fame game. We get to watch Washington Commanders football this week. Let it soak in. Let it marinate. That's all I got for right now. Until next time, hail to the Washington Commanders. Commander Rio, out.